Man, welcome back to another episode of YAP About It Sports. I'm your host, Bishop Dunn.
And I'm Edric Jones.
Week 6 of the NFL season is almost complete as the Bills will play the Jets tonight for Monday Night Football. On Thursday night, the 49ers beat the Seahawks 36-24. Here are some scores from around the league Sunday. As we just explained, the 49ers beat the Seahawks. We have the Bears beat the Jaguars 35-16. We have Buccaneers beat the Saints 51-27. Ravens and Commanders ended in 30-23.
Lamar Jackson.
Packers beat the Cardinals 34-13. Colts beat the Titans 20-17. Texas beat the Patriots 41-21. Eagles beat the Browns 20-16. Chargers beat the Broncos 23-16. Steelers beat the Raiders 32-13. Falcons beat the Panthers 38-20. And finally, the Lions beat the Cowboys 47-9.
Man.
The defending Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs were on their bye week this week, so they didn't play for week 6 after beating the Saints 26-13 last week. They are undefeated right now. But what do you think? Can the Chiefs have an undefeated season and go back to the Super Bowl?
No. I don't think so at all because, number one, they have no wide receiver weapons. Mainly, they just lost Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown out for the year. And the offense looks stagnant. It's just rely on Mahomes and Kelsey occasionally. But they relying on their backup running back that they got from undrafted, and then they also no Isaiah Pacheco either. So I feel like they don't have the weapons to go undefeated, and they probably gonna lose to, let's say, the Raiders or the Chargers. Yes, because they lost to the Raiders last year. They lost to the Raiders last year, and it was a divisional game. Every time they play somebody in the division, who was the Raiders or Chargers, it's always a close game. So I feel like they're going to definitely lose them at least one time. Even though they schedule really weak, I still think they're going to lose them at least one time.
I disagree with what you're saying right here. The Chiefs does have a weak schedule. They play really nobody exciting, but they do play the 49ers this upcoming week for week 7. But I feel like the Chiefs can go undefeated, and the reason I say this is because Mahomes, even though he's been playing mediocre, that offense has really been reliable for him. We've seen Juju Smith-Schuster, he got signed, I think earlier, like 2 weeks ago or earlier that week, played for the Saints, and he had over 100 receiving yards. So, and then you see Travis Kelce, he's getting back to what we're used to seeing from Travis Kelce. So I feel like the Chiefs could go undefeated, but their biggest test to date will be this 49ers versus Chiefs matchup that we get to see next Sunday.
Well, if they get undefeated, the only way they can go undefeated is with their defense, because their defense has outplayed their offense by a decent amount, especially holding like for week 1 for say, they hold the Ravens to 20. What's it called? They held. They stopped Burrow. Actually, no, they didn't. They contained Burrow. Although they contained Chase, though. They definitely contained Chase. Chris Jones is having another All-Pro season. Their corners are getting in there. Trent McDuffie. Even though they lost Ladarius Sneed, they're getting back up there in depth in the cornerback position. I just feel like their defense is like the only top thing that they got. And then offense, is the Mahomes show. Even though he's played mediocre, and I don't think he's going to win MVP because he's thrown 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, but they got him as the MVP leader because they haven't lost the game yet. But in all their wins, it's been shaky. First game they lost to a toe. Second game did I say they lose or win?
You said that the Bengals able to contain Joe Burrow.
Yeah, what's it called? So they were able to pull out the first game against with the Ravens from a toe. Yeah. The second game with the Bengals, they won PI, Rashee Rice, and then the third game, the Chargers, they overpowered them in the fourth quarter. It was, but that was still a close game too, in my opinion. Well, no, it was a close game in general, and I feel like if they keep having close games like this, it's gonna be a point in time where Mahomes can't pull it out, and they got to rely on the defense, and the defense might crumble at a certain point.
Yeah. I feel like the Chiefs, like you said, the Chiefs defense is carrying them right now because they are playing at a very high level. Their defensive line is playing at a high level, and James Conner and Jalen Watson has been able to step up for the Jerry Sneed position as the second corner next to Trey McDuffie. But you did bring up the fact that Mahomes MVP. We did. I feel like we seen a matchup with the MVP and a future MVP in the Ravens versus the Commanders. I'm a Commanders fan. My Commanders lost by 7 against the Ravens, 30-23. But I feel like that game really showed a lot. Really showed like everybody was really doubtful about the Commanders because I've been hearing the talk. Everybody said we didn't play nobody. We don't play nobody. But then when we play a team that's one of the best teams in the league and only lose by a touchdown, one score, I feel like that's good, especially for the development of what the Commanders are trying to go to this season. And I feel like that's also a great test to show that we can compete with any team in the league.
Okay, so first about that game, that was a fun, exciting game to watch, especially Jaden Daniels. I love watching him in college, and then Lamar Jackson. Oh man, you already know me, Lamar Jackson. But what's it called for the Commanders' part? I'll say this: Benjamin St. Jude needs to get arrested for what happened that day, because he let Zay Flowers drop. He went 9 for 9 in targets and catches and had 132 yards in the first and second quarter only. He didn't catch a ball for the rest of the other half. And then Rashad Bateman was going crazy too. Lamar Jackson was just, throwing all over their secondary. But definitely over Benjamin St. Jude, he needs to get cut, traded, arrested, put into prison somewhere. But y'all future is looking bright. The Commanders' future is looking bright, especially with Jaden Daniels at helm. I feel like y'all could probably make the playoffs the way y'all heading.
Probably. We is gonna make the playoffs.
So y'all probably gonna make the playoffs.
Probably.
The way y'all heading, y'all gonna have probably the same trajectory as the Texans did last year. Where
it's crazy.
Because the way the Texans had last year, rookie quarterback, questions about the weapons, but has a reliable receiver like the Stroud got Nico Collins, y'all got Terry McLaurin. And also a run game when they had Damian Pierce at the time. Y'all have kind of the same running back, Brian Robinson, able to get in that red zone, pushed in the end zone for a touchdown. And I feel like that trajectory, that's going to probably leave Jaden Daniels to probably have a C.J. Stroud-esque rookie season. And then if y'all could have a good offseason, this next offseason coming up, and build on the secondary, build on the defense, probably add linebackers, probably replace Bobby Wagner, because he's 40 now, pushing 40. I feel like y'all gonna probably be a real contender next year. And then, on the Ravens part, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I mean, the best duo in the league right now. Right now. I'm the all-time is obviously Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. But right now.
Whoa. That's not the best duo. Best duo.
Not all time. Hold on. In all time right now in the league. That's playing in the league.
Okay, as of right now? Okay.
Yeah. All time in the league right now.
All time.
Yeah, but right now, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, that's probably the scariest running attack in a minute. What's it called? Read options, especially Derrick Henry in a zone read system, the way they're able to use him with Patrick Ricard, they fullback. It would lead him out on the toss, and then Derrick Henry getting to the second level, the third level. That's key to their offense for real. And then that opens up the play action game, which Lamar Jackson was in play action. He was 9 for 10 for 156 yards in play action alone, just shredding up the defense, able to collapse the linebackers in with his eyes and the fear of Derrick Henry, and able to lead open receivers over top. I feel that was really good execution-wise for their offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, and the way they was able to get past the defense. So, and then another top game that happened, let's talk about the Lions and Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys lost again at home. They haven't won a game at home yet. What's called the Lions ran all over them with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I want to say they both had combined 174 rushing yards and like 2 touchdowns, especially David Montgomery. He had a game after he had his contract extended yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah. What do you think about this Cowboys team?
It's funny you bring up David Montgomery. You know, I got him on my fantasy team. I didn't start him this week because I thought Saquon would come back playing a better game that he played. But David Montgomery, he had over 100 yards, I believe, with 2 touchdowns. So I should have started him.
Yeah.
But the Lions just beat the Cowboys point blank.
Yeah.
Like they put what they say belt. They put belt to the Cowboys.
They put belt to butt.
Yeah, they put belt to the Cowboys. And it's crazy because the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson. Maybe for the season or maybe till they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, he got a broken fibula.
Yeah, and I've seen today that he was able to have a successful surgery from it. Yeah, so I feel like he may be back for the playoffs, but also just the Lions defense, they're just they're looking too good right now, especially that secondary with Carlton Davis, Kirby Joseph. I think he caught 2 picks.
No, that was Brian Branch.
Yeah, I also seen Kirby Joseph. He caught a pick, but I think they called it back because it was a flag.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold. That secondary is just elite. They're playing at a high level right now. But I can see the Lions going far with that statement win against the Cowboys. And, and the Cowboys, they have a lot to clean up. Because they have a lot of people hurt. Michael Parsons still hurt. DeMarcus Lawrence. They're missing Brandon Cook still. So the Cowboys just have to work out the injuries, had to replace the people that's injured, and hopefully get them back close to the playoffs time, close to the final stretch of the season. And as we move on to college, the Old Dominion Monarchs have a 2-4 record after losing to Coastal Carolina 45-37 last week. But they bounced back this week with a victory against Georgia State, 21-14.
Where the Spartans fell to a record of 2-6 on the season after losing to Townsend 28-23 on Saturday. Freshman quarterback Vincent Berry passed for 221 yards, a touchdown in the loss. Kevin King led the rushing attack with 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. The defense was led by A.J. Richardson with 18 tackles. Oh, 18 tackles, God. And 2 sacks. The Spartans take on Howard Bison. Ooh, Howard for homecoming October 26th at 2 p.m. It's the battle for me. Howard, because my top college choice is Howard, so I definitely want to go there. So, I'm definitely probably going to go there. You going to go to the homecoming game?
Yeah, I'll be there for the Howard versus NSU. I know it's going to be a big game for Norfolk State as they try to improve their record against the Howard Bison. And Hampton University played last weekend in CAA action. The Pirates played the Rhode Island Rams and lost 46-44. Quarterback Malcolm Hayes passed forward 253 yards and 4 touchdowns in the overtime loss on the road. The Pirates played this week North Carolina A&T after having a bye week. So what do you think about that game coming up?
Oh, I feel like that's going to be another good game to an HBCU battle. North Carolina A&T, probably a top 3 popular or top HBCU. I don't know what their record is in football, but it's probably decent compared to the Hampton University. So yeah, I feel like both are going to have a very competitive game. Both fan bases are definitely going to show out school spirit for real. So as we get on to a national level, national college football, what's it called? So we have a ranking of the top 10 undefeated teams in the nation, undefeated people. So, we got Texas number 1, Oregon 2, Penn State 3, Miami University 4, Iowa State 5, BYU 6, Indiana 7, Pittsburgh 8, Army 9, and Navy 10, ranked Navy and Army. So yeah, how you feel about this horrific list?
This list can be. I will probably say, even though Texas didn't play last week, I'll probably put Oregon in front of Texas for the undefeated teams list that we have right here because Oregon pulled off a statement win against Ohio State Saturday, and that was a big win for the Oregon Ducks. So I'll probably place them in front of Texas right now, and then see what Texas can do against Georgia. This upcoming Saturday, which I feel like the Bulldogs will pull off.
Look at the Georgia bias.
Yeah, I feel like the Bulldogs.
The Georgia bias.
But other than that, I like the list. I'll probably put Miami over Penn State as well because Miami has been playing great football, even though they had a few close calls these past few weeks. But I'll put Miami over Penn State. And other than that, the list is good. Army and Navy being undefeated. That's kind of shocking.
That's some news.
Yeah, so I guess that Army-Navy game will be packed, and all eyes will be on them to see which team can end their undefeated streak. What do you feel about the list?
First of all, Miami University undefeated, especially even though they didn't play last week. They played California the week before, and they went off for a slow start. I went to sleep. I was getting ready to watch the whole game, but I saw it was like 10 to 28, 30 something. It was down by 20 plus, for what I know. And then I wake up at like 4 in the morning. Out of nowhere, I see an ESPN replay, and I see Cam Ward throwing dots, bringing the team back, and I see that they won the game. So I was hyped for that. So that definitely got me excited for the future, and also Cam Ward's Heisman hopes. Even though he's not the front runner, it's going to be Ashton Genty because he's a reincarnation of Barry Sanders all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So
he put up 237 total yards against
Hawaii. Yeah,
that was crazy.
And then I definitely agree about Oregon probably being in front of Texas. They beat. I saw a stat. That was their first time beating somebody in the top 2 ever.
Oh yeah, that
Oregon.
was Coach Dan Landon's first win against a ranked team. He played against ranked teams, last season, but it was his first win against a ranked team.
Yeah.
Just last week.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat right there. Even Texas has been balling out. They did beat I want to say Oklahoma. They was ranked 2. Quinn Ewers' first game back. They was able to pull out a victory. It was like 34 to about, I want to say, 3. And, they had Baker Mayfield's jersey, and they put it in the middle of the field. They stomped it down. So that was pretty cool. And then other than that, the list is, Miami 3 too. Put Miami at 3, obviously. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the list.
Miami bias.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about Miami bias. We got Georgia bias. But speaking of that, let's talk about the Alabama game. Let's talk about the Alabama game. Alabama versus South Carolina. So how you feel about
SEC. I feel like South Carolina could have pulled off a big upset against Alabama this past Saturday, but quarterback Lenore Sellers, he hasn't been able to close out games. We seen that just Saturday. They had a lead over Alabama, but he threw an interception that cost them the game. So I feel like South Carolina, they're 2-5 now. I feel like if South Carolina can fix their problems, especially going into, because I don't think they're going to be bowl eligible this season. So especially fix going into next season. I feel like they can pick it all back up. In Alabama, they've been slowly falling apart, letting these teams, these 2-win teams, 3-win teams, be able to get the jump on them. And especially we saw that against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was able to get the jump on Alabama and beat Alabama. So Alabama is slowly falling apart. I hope to see that Alabama can pick it all back up. Especially if they want to have a chance to go to the college football playoffs and going into the SEC championship.
Yeah, let's talk back to South Carolina. I feel like if they need to use Nick Harbert more because he a glitch for real. Track star, 6'5", 240. I mean, like that's same size as Megatron, Calvin Johnson, but faster. Surprisingly, that's crazy to me. But they're not really using them. They used them when they scored. Their last touchdown was 31 yards.
I seen that.
Yeah, that was cool. But I feel like they need to incorporate him in the offense a lot more, especially to help out your redshirt freshman quarterback. This is his first full season starting, and I could see it. He was breaking sacks and tackles, making able to extend plays with his legs. I feel like he's something crazy. He's gonna be something crazy in the future, in the next couple of years or so, if they can get his development right.
Yeah, he may become like a next, I want to say, J. Daniels, Lamar Jackson type.
All right.
I feel like Lenore Sellers can become. He can become he can be what Jalen Milroe is for college football right now.
That's feasible.
Yeah, but we may see it, especially in these upcoming years, as we see his progression. You know, South Carolina may be one of those teams.
Crazy NCAA 25 too.
That Lenore Sellers, he's not playing like how he is in NCAA 25.
Yeah, oh my God.
You know, he's not using Nick Harbor as much as you would in NCAA 25.
So about Alabama though, I feel like their defense is kind of like falling apart, especially in their secondary, and letting quarterbacks in general escape the pocket and making them extend plays, not finishing sacks or tackles for a loss. They're not finishing that. And I feel like with their offense, it's kind of getting a little bit one-dimensional, especially in the quarterback run game, where when they got to the red zone, they just did straight either quarterback counter right or quarterback power right, and they just keep on doing that in the red zone until they got in. But I feel like they're able to diversify that, especially this is their head coach first year after Nick Saban retired last year. I feel like they need to, fix up the diversity in the offensive passing game to the point where, they could finish games safer and a lot less stressful than what they did that past Saturday.
Yeah. Stay tuned. YAP About It Sports. As we come back, we'll talk about the high school game of the week for the Peninsula District. As Woodside faced Mitchville. We will talk about that once we get back after commercial break. Stay tuned.
What's up, champ? Feel like you get taller every time I see you. Congratulations, Brandon. Thank you.
Welcome back to YAP About It Sports. In our high school football Peninsula District game of the week, we seen Woodside face Mitchville for Woodside's homecoming. That game went to a triple overtime thriller as we see as Mitchville pulls out the win with a game-winning field goal. The Monarchs move to 4-2 as the Woodside Wolverines fall to 3-4. So EJ, I want to ask you, do you see these teams going far and do you see these teams making it to the playoffs, and do you see these teams going far in the playoffs?
Well, I feel like Warwick's they're at this point they're a lock in the playoffs, especially even though their region is kind of hard. I feel like at this point with their record, they're a lock in the playoffs.
What's that?
No, I'm talking about Warwick. I'm talking about Warwick. They're gonna probably make it to the same place they were last time, and then face Maury. They lose, and you already know how that story goes. And then when it comes to Mitchville, I feel like they're kind of like middle of the pack, but also like they have some ups, they have some downs. But when they got the steam going, they're ready. They got a fast running back. They got a really good run game. The O-line is kind of disciplined, but they disciplined enough to win games. The defense is decent enough to win games. I feel like, especially with that win against Woodside, it was a tough battle. People calling it the game of the year for the PD. Which would have looked like it pretty much was a game of the year for the PD. I feel like the way they keep going with this steam, I feel like they're able to probably make it to the playoffs, but get a deep run. It really depends on who they play. And then for Woodside, falling to 3-4 is tough, but I don't know what region or region part they are, but 3 and 4 is not. It really shouldn't be playoff caliber, but depending on who they beat and who they have up next, and they can beat them, they can probably slide in a slot into the playoffs. Even though their run game is really good, I'll say that. Their pass game is lacking in some, but I feel like if they're able to slide in there, they can probably sneak out a victory, upset victory, but I don't know if they're going to make it far. So what about you?
Both Woodside and Mitchell, they're both in Region 5B. So, I looked at the standings. Right now, Mitchell is number 6, and wait, if I'm not wrong, Mitchell is number 6, Woodside's number 7. Mm-hmm. So these teams, they can make it to the playoffs. Mitchell plays Hampton this upcoming week, so that'll be a test as well. Mm-hmm. as we can see if that Mitchell defense is able to stop that Hampton offense. Mm-hmm. And we see that Hampton, Heritage played Hampton last week. We played Hampton last week, and Hampton was able to put up a amazing fight as they beat Heritage last week. So we'll get to see if Mitchell was able to contain Hampton, and Woodside plays Ward, and Ward is also in 5B. So that's another Region 5B test for Woodside. We will see if they're able to put up a fight against the undefeated Ward. And then like I said, they both teams. I can see both teams make it to the playoffs. Yeah. Both teams make it to the playoffs, but it's all about when they get to the playoffs, are they going to win? Mm-hmm. Because Mitchell will play Ward round 1. Oh yeah. In the playoffs, so that would be a part 2 of what happened earlier this season. Yeah. Even though Ward put out, I think the score was 52-17, if I'm not wrong.
It was like, I don't know. It was something like that though.
It was, and then Woodside will play Kings Fork in the playoffs round 1, and that would be another test you got, because number 0, Javon Ford for Kings Fork, he's been able to put up a solid season on the ground, and he's a big part of that Kings Fork offense. So we'll see if Woodside will be able to contain that 3-3 stack defense. Mm-hmm. We'll see if that's able to contain number 0 from Kings Fork.
Yeah, Kings Fork, they're looking pretty good this year, but that Coach Wright defense is tough. That 3-3 stack, 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers is going to be really tough to get through it, especially in the passing game. But if they can able to run through them gaps, them open gaps, and make them switch their formula up, I feel like Kings Fork will have it in the bag. I got a question for you. Who do you think is going to be the farthest out of all these teams in the PD?
I feel like it would be Phoebus. Phoebus has a great chance of winning their state championship for a 4th time in a row. So as we end YAP About It Sports, I'm your host, Bishop Dunn.
I'm Edric Jones.
And check us out next time for the next episode of YAP About It Sports.